This is Overpass Live. My name's Eric and I make apps. Happy Friday, everybody. I guess, you know what? When I was setting up the live stream, when I was scheduling it this morning, I realized that it's September 11th. And I thought, maybe we shouldn't do one. I mean, it seems like this is like the first year where we've had September 11th where people aren't talking about the anniversary as much. I think because there's so much else going on. But I was almost like, it's that date where when you hear it, you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do one today. But I appreciate all you guys joining us here today. So this is our weekly live stream where we just hang out. We just talk about whatever we want to talk about. There's no plans. I don't have a topic. Sometimes we'll have a guest. We don't have a guest today because it's just going to be me hanging out again, just so we can focus a bit more on the questions again this week. And also I have to keep it down to an hour again because I have to be in London later on. So I'm kind of trying to, but I don't want to miss the live stream. So I have nothing to sell you, nothing to do. We just chat, we just hang out, we just chill. All right, so let me just see who's here. Let's see, Mixed Video says, hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, how's it going? Nydia says, hi, Steve. Hello. Yes, you're on the wrong live stream. That's over. I think you're thinking about somebody else, but I appreciate that. Fist007, what's up? Hey, what's up, Fist007? You guys, first of all, let me just make sure you guys can hear me all right. Move my keyboard over. Let's see. I missed last week's live stream, and I feel very bad about it. Dude, it's all right. You know, even sometimes I'll miss the live stream, so it's no big deal, right? So, you know, it's good to have you back. So how can I make up for having done so? Let's see. I think you should fill up your bathtub with cold water, like with ice cubes and everything. And then as soon as the live stream is over, just let it get nice and cold. As soon as the live stream is over, jump in there for about 5 minutes, and then that should make up for it. I hope that's not too draconian. By the way, I had a client meeting. This is why. Fantastic. I've had several client meetings in the past. Well, I had one client meeting today. I had one on Monday. I'm so far behind on doing quotations. It's like, it's just, you know, sometimes there are times where it feels like there's not a lot going on, and there's other times it just feels like I'm always behind. I'm always apologizing. I should make my name Eric, I'm sorry, Wroolie, because I'm always apologizing for something. Always late for meetings, always whatever. Bhupinder says, please start. And go. We're going to go now. All right, so we are here. Hi, Eric. I'm the first one to like the video. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for smashing the like button. Thank you for the one person to smash the like button, the down like button. And thank you for the one person to call me Steve. You guys can call me Steve all you want. In fact, Steve is a better name than Eric. I say this a lot, right? Eric is not my favorite name in the world. It's like growing up with it. It's like this nasally, annoying sounding name. Eric. I think it's because it sounds. How many other good names do you know that starts with an E? Emilio, Esteban, Eric. Eric just sounds, maybe it's just because it just has this sound to it. Maybe it's because that's just the way people talk to me. I don't know. Let's see. By the way, we love the live sessions. Thank you very much. Fist007 says, I'm starting to see the pattern here, Eric. You've stopped inviting guests, so you get the entire attention. That's not true. It's been fun. Like I plan on. So Apavelli says he might be able to make it next week, which would be fantastic. I might have Rodrigo on again. And in fact, if anybody does want to come on, just let me know. But I do want to know is just if you're okay on camera. I think I've had a few people say I'll come on the live stream, but I just want to make sure you'll be comfortable with it, and you know that we don't have any kind of things where it's I know it can be a bit daunting to go on the live stream. Actually, not really. It's really just a chance just to chill out and talk, right? I have no topics. It'd be like, what do you think about this? And you can say, I have no opinion about that, and that would be fine. But, you know, it's just for us to get to know the rest of the group. Mega Man 2016, 14th. Nice. Leandro says, hi, Mr. Wroolie. Hey, Leandro, how are you? Bhupinder says, my revenue is increased now. Thanks for advice, sir. Oh, that's fantastic. Was it what was it specifically you did, Bhupinder? Because Bhupinder be really interested to know. App404 says native code. That's all you have to say? Native code? Yeah. Cross-platform framework. Hybrid. Everyone just shout out your favorite frameworks. Chansa says, hi Wroolie. Cool. I'm glad you. This is like the army. In fact, you know what? Last week I was going to wear my army shirt today. I found my army uniform, and the army uniform shirt still fits. Trousers, no chance in hell, but it's kind of nice to see that working. Hey, Wroolie, I'm here. We love your work, man. Big ups. Thanks very much, Chansa. Moby Studio says, sup, Eric. I can see you are loading the AdMob. I am loading AdMob. It's not loading for some reason. Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding me, because it's going to load, and you're not supposed to see that. I was trying to load it just to have an idea, because I haven't been looking at it this week. My AdMob revenue is really low. This is something I tried to do this week. I noticed my iOS earspy has been carrying a lot of the revenue over the past few months, but at the beginning of July, it just went dead. So I thought, I just need to update the libraries. Now, I hired somebody a few months ago to update it from Swift, I think it was Swift 1 to Swift to something that would be used by Xcode 10, which I think was Swift 3. And now when I went to go use it, said, no, you need Xcode 4, 4.2, or 5. And I was like, that's, God, you know, this is crazy with native code. Like when Java versions increase, you might get a few things here and there, but not nearly like Swift seems to be doing. And I probably, it's mainly the dependency libraries that I have to go through and look through rather than my own stuff. But it's like, God, do I even want to bother with that? It's like, it's that hurdle, right? You talk about going native. I say this all the time when somebody says, should go cross-platform or native. I say, should go native. If you do go native, you won't have any problems, but it is amazing how often Swift updates their requirements. But yep. So let's see. Fizzo says, believe me, it sounds nazy because you've been hearing it from Brits for at least 20 years. Haha. Just kidding, Brit friends. Found Nazi. Oh, Nazi. Is that nasty? Ethan and Ezra are cool names. Ethan, that's true. Yeah, Ethan. Ethan is such a cool name that in Mission Impossible, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is the actor. Ethan Hunt. Ethan is a bad name. Ezra is a cool name too. You're right. It's just Eric. Eric doesn't fill it in there. Maybe it's just because, I don't know. Maybe because it's mine. Maybe like I bet like someone with a really cool masculine name like Jake. I bet a guy Jake is like, God, I hate the name Jake. I hate the name Jake. It sounds so bad. But everybody's like, dude, I'd love to be called Jake. So from now on, you guys either could call me Steve or Jake. I don't mind. Going back to the first comment, hey Steve, which is don't give me a complex about the fact that we have this competing live stream going on at the same time. By the way, I've been thinking about whether or not we should about changing the days on live stream, not because of the other one, competing one, but just to change it up. We've been doing the Friday nights at 5 p.m. for over 3 years. It's been like a long time, and I hate and I don't ever want to miss it. But then I'm thinking maybe it might be Friday night is might not be convenient for everybody else. So so let me know. Vector Viral says, hey Eric, just love you. Thank you very much. Love you back. Thanks, Vector Viral. Appreciate it. Let's see. Fist007 says, how would you approach building a niche specialized medical app targeted towards health professionals? So how would you build it? I suppose that the language doesn't make, or the technology you use, would that make much of a difference? I'm trying, because you say it's medical. I would, in my mind, I think it would build it the same as I would any other application for anybody else, right? You'd either use the mean stack or you use Firebase. Guys, I'm trying to think. I'd imagine, and this is just I'm just assuming that the medical industry would have some sort of requirements that would be like, oh yeah, we don't want to put it on the Google platform, or we don't want to put it on this, or we don't want to put it on that. But I don't know what those requirements would be. In fact, I've quoted for some medical organizations, at least 3 of them, and a lot of the issues were more around, they have their existing development teams and they have all these requirements. It's like you rarely get like a medical organization. Well, you get medical organizations that are not technical. Easy you get somebody who's not technical, and you can recommend whatever framework or whatever software. But usually they have like a technology team that to go through, and that could be difficult. And they love forms and documentation. So let's see. Who did I miss? Who did I miss this one? Oh, Morris 5 says Swift 1 to Swift 5 is a huge jump. Actually, I'm going from Swift 3 to Swift 5. But even that just seems like, I think if I knew, like, I don't do native as much as, especially, if there was anything I would do, it would be Swift. So EarSpy was one what was done in Objective-C. I got some developers, I hired some developers to convert it to Swift years ago. And then I had another developer convert it to Swift 3, I think, just earlier this year. And now I got to go to Swift 4 or 5. And it's like, just, right? And I'm at the point now where I'm getting all the compilation errors, and I can see that it's in these, like, they're using Swift extensions. So it's like, it's not even something I can control. It's probably, for somebody who's a seasoned Swift professional, it would probably be simple, but for me, it's probably like there's so many things where I could just look at and I could kind of figure it out. Like I was doing some Flutter work last week. I was doing a lot of Xamarin stuff still, stuff on Firebase using Cloud Functions, doing a bit of Angular, and a lot of this stuff it could be a bit rocky to begin with, but you kind of got the main concepts. But you have that first, every time you learn like a new language or a new platform, or even when you first start learning coding altogether, you get those errors. Like even everything's working perfectly fine. Okay, everything's good, everything's compiling, and then you get those errors, and it's like you're looking through stack traces, and you're like, Google this, Google that, Google this. And you know what? One thing I would like, actually, this is probably a bit too much, but like in stack traces, where you go through, you copy the stack trace, and you put it into Google, it copies like your entire the entire stack trace, or like I just want to copy one bit out of it, and so, depending on the IDEs, that could be a bit difficult to do. I mean, so I copy it out of there, copy it into Sublime Text, and then look for the bit that I want to Google, and then I Google that bit, which doesn't seem like it'd be this, like it should, like the IDE does so much else. It should allow me just to do that, just like this is the error, or being able to just highlight parts of it. And the IDE I'm using most of the time at the moment is Writer for Xamarin, and I'm using Writer for Xamarin and WebStorm for Angular and Firebase Functions. I'm using IntelliJ for Flutter, although it could be Android Studio. Let's see. Okay, Vector. Sorry, I missed a few questions here. Vector Viral says, "What do you say about instant apps? Is the future? Play Store demand will increase or not?" The thing I like about instant apps and app snips. Oh God, whoa. So now that Apple has their version of it and Android has their versions of it, I do see that as being a bit of a where. When you go to Domino's and they say download our Domino's app. I mean, I know you guys never go to Domino's, and neither do I either. I just eat salads all the time. But when you go you go to someplace and they say download our app, and you're like, I'm not gonna go to the Play Store and download your app for this place. But if they made it, but now with the social distancing and everything, you're seeing this a lot more with restaurants with applications. So order through the app, and it's almost like a requirement. And sometimes it's a website. Like I was at Pizza Hut a few, just pizza's like a thing. I was at Pizza Hut a few weeks ago, and with my kids, and there was you have to order through a mobile web app and stuff like that, which was just dumb because there's a person standing right over there, and I have to go to some central server someplace. Sorry. I have to go to some, you know what? My phone doesn't ring all day. So I had to go to some central server someplace to order this so that it could be fed back to the local restaurant 10 feet away, and then they can place that order. But it is what it is. So when it comes to the instant apps and the app snippets, that's not app snippets. What is it? Anyway, so on the Apple side, the fact that you could actually make those orders and go through the app without actually having to download the app, I think could be huge for us app developers. But so it's that it's when we start to see it in restaurants where there's the barcode or the NFC tag, or in shops and stuff that say, actually, just do it. You don't have to download anything, whatever. You just do that, and you have all that functionality. I think it's going to be huge. But I could be wrong. Let's see. MD says Edward. Edward is a good name too. You're right. Edward is. God, what was I thinking? You know what? When I try to think of names that start with E, I can't think of anything. Edward is a good name because Edward. You know what? Have you ever met an Edward you don't like? Ed. You know, that's like a fun name. Eric is like Eric. Briashu. Goyal says, hey, everyone. Hey, Briashu, how are you? Let's see. Fis is a ginormous name. Is it? Yeah, but it doesn't start with an E. Manly Sullacort. Hey, Overpass apps. That's me. I mapped out my first mobile app, financial app, but not sure I should build it with Flutter or React Native. Any advice for me? Personally, I like Flutter, right? I just think, but there's so many people who do React Native. If it were something like, if I were going to do it like a client came to me and it was left up to me, I'd probably go Flutter. But one of the issues I find with Flutter is if you're going to hire another developer, there are so many more React Native developers out there who aren't working on their own thing and they're actually just going for the jobs. If you look at especially in England, if you go to the job boards, you see a lot, well, this is a few months ago, you see a lot more React Native jobs than you do Flutter jobs. So if you're going to hire somebody, there seems to be more of an abundance of React Native developers out there, at least in my opinion. However, I think Flutter is, I really, I like the elegance of it. I like the fact that it seems like to me, it seems like all the controls are a lot more fluid, and you have a lot more control of how you could do things. But it's come with these things, whatever helps you do it. I would try both, because there's been projects where I've started and I think I'm going to do this in Flutter, and then I changed gears and went with Xamarin just because it was like I had to get this thing done, and I was just running into roadblocks, and I was like, let me just go the other way, even though I would love to build it in this, but I'm like, my knowledge level was like, it was slowing me down, so I had to move to something else. But it's a question we get a lot. Bhupinder, super chat. Oh, thanks very much. Just made a super chat. Thanks, Bhupinder. I really appreciate it. Sorry, meant market, not build. Oh, how to market a medical app. I think that would be one. What I would use is, after you build, so here's what I would do. I would either build it or prototype it. If you prototype it, then you can talk about the application and it's fully customizable for them, even whether or not you've built it. And then use something like LinkedIn Sales Navigator and be able to target the right people. So if you never use, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator is it can be expensive if you get like the full version where you get like third-degree connections. But if you've never used it, you could go through and say, I want to look at everyone who does buying for the medical in this radius, and then you can start going out there and start pitching it to those people directly. Because it's not the kind of thing you'd want to. You could potentially put out Facebook ads and then hope to get it in front of the right people, but because it's so very niche, you could put there's only a few people would be interested in buying that, and that's where I think that the LinkedIn Sales Navigator would go. Having said that, and again, a lot of people keep telling me to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and I do, and it's been helpful, and I've gotten responses back, but a lot of times you don't get responses back. And I think about LinkedIn, I honestly don't often answer LinkedIn because there's so much spam. You get so much coming in. Rodrigo says, I will call you Sarah, Eric backwards. Air split reverse join. I like it. Sire. Is that Sire? Sire. I like it. Let's see. And thanks everyone for smashing the like button. Thank you everybody for smashing the like button. Yesim Speaks says, hello. Do you have any info about AdMob ad limit, which lots of developers are facing these days? It seems like this is happening a lot. And one of the things and alternatives you recommend, using another ad network, or at least using some sort of mediation network, or using some sort of mediation so you could try something else while those ad limits are. But It's been ages since I've gotten an email like that. Now, Yasim Speaks, have they told you what it was, what the issue was? Is it self-clicks? Is it just getting too many? Or are they just slowing it down so they could have a look at it? Fistolo says, why is Apple so nasty and cheesy with upgrading their stuff? Take a look at Microsoft, for example. C# 8 is now 100% compatible with C# 1. Even Windows 10 is 100% compatible with any previous versions. Any previous Windows version. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not so much. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was kind of weird too. I thought the backwards compatibility thing should work for. You shouldn't have to say if you haven't updated your app in a year, then you're going to have to, get a developer in there to rewrite it if you want to republish it. But yeah, I'm kind of crapple. Yeah, I'm really annoyed with that too, to be honest with you. Priyanshu says currently all downloads are through AdMob. It converts a bit on weekends mainly. Oh, okay. So are you actually, Priyanshu, are you saying that you're actually taking ads out for AdMob? Edge Dev Studio says, hi, Eric. Hi, Edge Dev Studio. I just wanted to say hello. Hello. Good to see you. I'm glad you can make it. Rodrigo says, using apps without having to install is called websites. Yeah, but you know what? Websites kind of suck. So let's say, okay, PWAs, they're the future. They've been the future for the last few years. They're going to be the future tomorrow. PWAs are going to catch on. Just wait. But it hasn't really happened yet, right? I'm trying to think. It's funny now because I have prospects that call up and they say, I've heard of this other thing, which isn't an app and it isn't a website, but it's kind of in between. And so, you mean PWAs? I go, yeah. But it's like, you have to think of the best user experience for your users. And yeah, websites. This is the thing that bothered me about being in Pizza Hut and ordering with the website. It was like, it was just a website. Like if I didn't like an app, I want it to remember who I am for next time. I don't want to enter all that information in each and every single time I do it. I don't necessarily, I want the choice of being able to register or not register. And I would like to hit some sort of notifications to say, where my order is, right? Not just go fill in this form, which a lot of, I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but in England, there's a lot of contact tracing things. So you go to a restaurant, and it used to be that they would, sometimes you go to the pub and they'll say they need your name and number, and you give it to them because, the pandemic and then you think afterwards, God, I just gave them my number. But now they got a lot of stuff. A lot of places have like a barcode where you scan it, it goes to a mobile website, you fill in a form, you hit submit, nothing else, no emails, no nothing. That's it. You just fill it in, and it's like a voluntary thing. And to me, it seems so quickly and hastily done. Like any of us could have done that in like a day of work, right? Just do this mobile website they go to, and there must be some companies that make a lot of money through that kind of stuff. Chance to Musanda. Wroolie. Yes, Musanda. I want to find out from you, can Firebase notifications trigger AdMob serving is limit? I was sending an update notification to my account, has slapped me with the ad serving limit. Not that I'm aware of. The only thing I could think of is if you send out a push notification and everybody opened your app at the same time and you had loads of impressions at the same time, maybe it looked suspicious. But that's the only thing. That's the only way I can think of how a notification would trigger the AdMob serving limit. And I might just be talking out my butt on that one. That's a guess. Divyanshu, hey Divyanshu, says, hello Eric, I made an app and spent $500 on AdWords but didn't get any downloads. Why? It depends. Maybe your ad wasn't very good. This is really hard to say. This is why you never want to put too much money on ads without testing something and looking for that the conversion rate on those ads. So like I'm talking about like spending like $3 or $4. If you spend $3 or $4 and you get, let's say you get 50 impressions and nobody downloads, I would think that's kind of weird. Like So if you get, let's say you spent $5. Let's say you have 10 cents per click. So $5 would be, God, what is that? Is that 200? All right, let's say you do $10. Let's say you do $10, 10 cents a click, right? So then it's at 10, so it's like 1,000 impressions, and you get no downloads. Then then I would think, well, what's wrong with my ad? And that's actually a lot for a click. I would go for more like 2 or 3 cents a click and put like a low bid if you're gonna do the Google ads, and then sort of bring it up a little bit. But you want to spend as little as possible and test those ads, because if you have an ad that sucks, then it doesn't matter how much money you spend on it. Nobody's going to click on it. But if you have an ad that's really good and a lot of people are clicking on it, then first of all, you'll probably get more impressions. You'll get a lower rate. You think about it. Google wants to make money. Facebook wants to make money. They all want to make money. So being able to show a bunch of ads that nobody clicks on is just annoying people, and it's not making them any money. That nobody clicks on, and it just displays it. So if I put an ad out there that says, it says something completely irrelevant, like the sky is blue, download EarSpy, right? It doesn't matter, just the fact that I said download EarSpy, because it's, or whatever my current one is. It doesn't really matter, because Google's not going to make any money from it, because nobody's going to click on it. They still have other ads that could show there, so they're going to have to raise the price on that kind of stuff. I mean, it's interesting when you read about the about how the bidding works and how they're actually figuring that stuff out. Vishnu says, "Hi Eric, I can work 24/7 on office job, but when I start my own app development, I become more lazy. Why? Because you don't have a deadline. That's why. Because you don't have anybody telling you have to get it done. I'm the same, Vishnu. Right? It's like if you said, I have to get this done by Friday or else, then you might be a bit more likely to do it. But the likelihood is, let's say you have an app and you say, I must release this by next week, next Friday. So, it has to be done by next Friday. Otherwise, I've hired a hitman who's going to come in and murder me. God, can you imagine making that call? You're like, no, oh, my database is down. Oh, God, you imagine? You'd really work on it. But what happened is, because I've done this, I've set myself deadlines and said, okay, next Tuesday, okay, I have to get this done by next Tuesday. I have to get, for me, it's quotes too. I have to get this quote done by next Tuesday, right? And so then the time will come, and then I'll realize, well, that was just sort of like a self-imposed rule, because I know, because you try to trick yourself, you can't. That was more of a self-imposed rule. It could go to Thursday, whatever, and then eventually you just get to a point where it doesn't happen, or you get to the point, like if you're doing your own stuff, there comes a time where you just have to go live. You have to put it live, even though it's not 100% perfect. And it's, I found this a lot with, and you know what, it does, as a professional, it does bother you to put something out there where there's something like, oh God, this thing doesn't look exactly the way I wanted it to. I want to clean this up a little bit, but that's why we talk about version 2. Sometimes version 2 never gets here, because you're like, dude, thank goodness I didn't spend so much time on it. But it's that internal motivation it can be really hard, because you don't have the deadline. And if you've read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, he talks about the resistance. The resistance is a thing where you have full intentions to create and finish this application in your app business, and then for whatever reason, you're like, either you want to be a perfectionist, or it's so overwhelming that you don't even want to get started. This is another thing that gets me. It's so overwhelming that I don't even want to, I'm thinking, I look at it and I just want to take a nap. And you know what? Sometimes I do take a nap, and then afterwards I'll be like, oh, okay, all right, now I'm rested. I'm gonna do it. Oh God, and it's so overwhelming. So it's really just a case of starting. Getting started. It is amazing. It is amazing how many times I put off a project, and I put it off, and then when I start working on it, like in the evening, say, okay, I'll just do 5 minutes, whatever, and then it's 3:00 in the morning because I got into the flow, and it's like that. Once you get that momentum, it takes you on, but you also have to be ready to set a deadline and go live regardless. When I started doing the daily videos, and I know I haven't done the daily videos for a few years, I do them a few times a week now. When I started doing the daily video, I made a promise to myself that regardless of how much it sucks, I'm still going to publish it, right? Because it's a daily, because I said I would do it daily, and people have been amazed at how I was able to do so many of the videos and how disciplined I was. But mainly it was that stupid deadline. It was that it's Tuesday, I haven't done a video today, I said I would, and it was because I made it important enough in my head. And once I fell off that wagon and stopped doing it on a daily basis, it kind of became less regular, right? And it is that giving yourself that deadline. And that could be very, very hard. My cousin Alan Wroolie says, hey, cousin, hey, fist bump. I have a WordPress developer interview on Monday. They expect me to know HTML, CSS, and build themes on WordPress. Can you give me any pointers that will help me in the interview? I would think you should customize some themes this weekend. Yeah, it's God. What would if I was going to hire a WordPress developer? And let me think. If I would want to know if you knew. Well, if you as a WordPress. Okay, so if you're just building themes, it doesn't mean you have to be a WordPress developer. So you don't need to know like the internal workings of it, but you have to be really good with HTML and CSS. So looking at some of the latest things, what's trending now in HTML, like how would you, like mobile websites, how would you convert one to another? How would you use media queries and stuff like that, I would imagine. But I've never gone for a job as a WordPress developer. So, and Fistable says, know the WordPress structure like the back of your hand. Yeah, I mean, if you look at, so I've purchased quite a lot of themes before, and the themes are not necessarily like the developers do. It's more like I guess they is because there's that. So I'm trying to remember because it's been a while. There's the theme template where you got like the functions.php and you've got everything situated in a certain way. Yeah, I would imagine so. MD says, Eric, why don't you monetize live stream recordings? Dude, I've been meaning to. I'm not really good at monetizing things. Do you guys want me to? You guys want to? Should I start charging for the live streams? It's fun doing the live streams, right? Why? It's like I enjoy doing it. It's anybody can show up. We can talk about whatever we want to, right? It's just a bit of my time. I mean, if I do a consultancy, if I meet with a client, they pay me for my time. But this is kind of nice just to be able to talk about whatever's on our mind and be able to not only share my knowledge, but you guys can share your knowledge, right? Whereas if I mean, people have said that before, like having like a private group where we monetize the live streams, but I don't know. I kind of like doing it. I just a few weeks ago, I went and set up all these affiliate links, and I was going to include them in the videos, and I haven't done yet. So monetizing the YouTube channel and doing this kind of stuff is stuff that I haven't done, but it's I was thinking about this because sometimes people will say, like, maybe I had this thing at YouTube like a few years ago where there was a consultant because the channel was growing really quickly at the time, and she said that this could be your full-time income doing YouTube videos. And she talks about these stories about other people who do YouTube and stuff like that, and it kind of was like, it was very seductive, the thought of it just being like a full-time YouTuber. And then I thought, actually, I'm a software developer, right? It's just like. I think about when I do the YouTube videos and when I do the live stream, it's kind of like when I go to the gym. I go to the gym to make me better at what I do or to make me healthier. I do the live streams because it's fun. It gives, it's giving me a chance to talk to people, and it's nice to be able to share the knowledge. And, the fact that I go to the gym 5 days a week doesn't mean I want to be a professional athlete. The same way that I do the live streams and the videos doesn't mean I want to be a YouTuber. It just means that this is just something I do. It's fun. If you guys haven't done any YouTube videos, I highly encourage you to. There's plenty of room out there. There's, even if you just got 10 views, even if you got 3 subscribers and 10 views, give it a try because it's fun. Although it's hard at first. It is so hard at first to put yourself on camera. If you've never done it, oh my God. But if you look at my early videos, it's like, oh, I'm just so fidgety and nervous and just, you know. Let's see. Priyanshu says, you missed the review message that I sent. The AdMob comment was in relation to that. Oh, sorry about that. What did I miss? Currently, all downloads are through AdMob. Priyanshu, I don't see it. I just see this one. It converts a bit on weekends mainly, and I don't see anything else. For some reason, it didn't come through. So if you just ask it again. Victor Kip2 says, how long does it take to make an advanced app without bugs? Without bugs? Without any bugs whatsoever? I don't know. Because even something that goes live, I think there's just... even when you put something out and you think that's perfect, there's just a bug you haven't found yet. There's a bug that's going to create... and it could be something that... it could be a bug that's lying in wait for the next OS version. Although you could say... if Android changes their requirements, like Android 11 came out this week, right? If something doesn't work properly on on Android 11, that's not necessarily a bug because you couldn't have foreseen it, but your clients are going to think it's a bug, and so it's really difficult. I mean, and also you're asking that question, like, what does advanced mean? Like, if you're going to do something that's some applications are in development for years and years. I mean, you don't want to do years and years and then release. You got like release a version and then the next, so it's always ongoing. And most applications that are successful are ongoing. And there's always going to be bugs, right? I don't care who you are. Even though you can have like 99% test coverage, there's going to be something that doesn't quite work, right? Especially on mobile, because we have this thing where we have thousands of different devices out there. Well, we've got like dozens on the iOS side and we've got thousands on the Android side. And there could be something that comes up there. And a lot of the times you're chasing a bug that doesn't exist, or you're chasing a bug that that's environmental. Like, let's say you could say I have 100% test coverage, and then the user loses data when the battery goes dead and they're in the middle of doing something. Is that a bug? Or is that like, because you didn't anticipate that? Or is that like, it's a really difficult question to answer. And I don't think it's possible to get 100% bug free. Well, maybe if you have like a Hello World, I guess you could get 100% bug free, but not if it's like really advanced. I mean, there's going to be something. Eric, could you please review this app, please? For some reason, it didn't go through there, Ankesh. Could you just put it through again? Bhupinder says, hi, Eric. I've seen this question is repeating in all streams. Why is AdMob ads limited? Yeah, I know. I've seen it every single live stream, and I don't know the answer to it. Because for me, it hasn't happened. Yasim says, I've received ads limited for invalid activity. Never self-clicked, but probably the click-through rate was high. Yasim, I'm going to ask you what I ask everybody else. When you're testing the application, do you have the test device in there? So that's one thing, because the impression is going to count too. So if you're actually showing live ads in your test device, then you need to set that as the test device, right? And it could be, I mean, you got to understand the algorithm is going to see something that looks out of sorts. So if you have like all of a sudden all these users discover at the same time, rather than continue to serve ads and charging the advertisers for something that could be like put yourself in an advertiser's position. You're paying money for advertising, and let's say that somebody's self-clicking, or there's a potential that somebody is out there self-clicking, right? It may or may not be the case. You'd probably want them to stop serving while they investigate or while they look into it, rather than continue serving and then make sure everything's okay and charging you for it. Morris Taylor. Hey, Morris says, PWAs are not realistic on iOS devices because Apple will delete the browser cache unexpectedly. That is a very good point. I've had this with Ionic applications. So I used to, Ionic, you could do SQLite storage and all this. So there's more permanent storage. But in the old days, like one of the first applications I did it in just using local storage in the browser in an Ionic app. And every time the disk, the phone would run low on device, it would clear down that thing. So users would have to log in again, and it was something that was for a client application, and it really made things, it really was like difficult to explain that away. Says, what would the usual click-through rate on banners or interstitials? Like, can 10% be okay on AdMob? I really don't know, right? It depends. It probably depends on the ads that go out. As we were talking about before, if you take on an ad and nobody clicks on it, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of people click on it, then it's going to look suspicious. And every ad is going to be different. If you have an ad for a new film that's coming out, then you know, based on how much data Google has, they're going to know that for some reason on your application, more people are clicking on this ad than on other applications, right? So you might have one ad that has a click-through rate of 10%. You might have one ad that has a click-through rate of 2%. And if you were going to look at all the data, or if you had wrote an algorithm to look at all the data, you think about, okay, on average, this ad has this click-through rate. This other ad has this other click-through rate. This other ad, and so if you see a spike or a change in that, then it's going to be, because they're looking across all applications, not just your own. It's not just you're serving one ad and that's all it is. It's not like a click-through rate of all the ads that you show, because unless you know what they are, it's going to be, one's going to be for, I don't even know what the ads are anymore. Clash of Clans, or one's going to be for a game, somebody else's ad, one might be for, insurance, one might be for something else. Like, they're going to know what the click-through rate is on those other applications, which is why I think it's funny when some people think they could get around that and not get caught. Because, if you were running the platform and you had to protect the money of your advertisers, how would you do it? If you had to write an algorithm, what would you do? For me, I would look at across the board what the ads are, what's the click-through rate on those ads, and I would look for the anomalies, right? And it could be the fact that if you have an application where more people are downloading it for some reason, they're seeing that ad and they're clicking on it, and you see a spike in those downloads, or in those clicks. I don't know. I'm speculating here, but I would imagine that you can't guess what the click-through rate is going to be, because it's not based on the app. It's not based on the app placement. It's based on the ad, and you don't know what that ad is. Vanraj Ged says, after 5 months watching your video, good work. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rupinder says, never use full credit in AdWords. Always test your first ad with $5 to $10. Yeah, I agree with that. Ankush says, Eric, can you please review this game, please? Ankush, I'm not seeing it. It's not coming through. So tell me what the name is or the package name. We can have a look for it. But if you try to put a link in it, it gets blocked by YouTube. Yasim Speak says, in your opinion, is Start App any better than Facebook Audience Network? I've never used Start App. I don't know. If anybody's used a Start App, they want to answer that, then let me know. Croc Smile. Oh, awesome name. Croc Smile says, hi, Eric. In your experience, what platform is more accurate for revenue estimates? Mobile Action or Sensor Tower? I've looked at a few, and the numbers are all over the place. You know what? I think App Annie probably has much better stats, but it's hugely expensive. I've never been that impressed with either of those two applications. I know I spent a lot of money on both Sensor Tower and Mobile Action, and I've just, they're scraping and they're guessing, and unless they have some sort of back-end API that nobody else has the access to, then I don't know how they're coming up with those stats. This is one of the reasons why I've never been that impressed with those tools. Because every time I ask, where's this data coming from, nobody knows. I know with App Annie, because so many of us have App Annie accounts and we're linking our own accounts to it, they have a lot of those stats. But you have to think about where they're getting those. I'm sure that Mobile Action and Sensor Tower have special access to an API that the rest of us don't have. They're scraping and they're guessing in some way. And they're making a lot of money doing it. But for me, I'm not a convert to those two tools. I've used them before. I've had them. I've had The Tool is another one. They've come to me and say, they want to sponsor a video. They'll give me all this stuff, an affiliate link. I'll make all kinds of money. But it was like, when I went to use it, I was like, how do you use this? And they're kind of vague. It's kind of like just it'll help you increase your app downloads. Okay, so what keywords should I look for? Well, this is what these other keywords are, and these are what and there's so much else out there to look at. But and maybe I'm just being cynical. Like I did a video about this. One of the first year that I started doing videos was like the app vultures, right? I don't want to be seen as the mark. Like, when you put out an application, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and nobody's downloading it. And then somebody comes around and says, dude, you know what the problem is you don't have this tool. This tool will tell you which keyword you should target. This tool will tell you who's making the most money. This tool will tell you this. And we say, where's this data coming from? Well, so, I don't know. I mean, you guys might disagree with me. I could be completely wrong on this, but I am not a convert to these kind of tools. I'm not a convert to somebody who says they're the ASO master because they know more than the average person does, right? There's a lot of witch doctory that goes on out there, and I think in a logical way, we know that keywords work. We know that the reviews and the ratings work. We know that we know the things that Google tells us works. But when they start saying they can guess what the revenue is, I don't know if I buy that. But I could be wrong. Tamil City Central. Hey, bro, bro. Hey, bro, big fan. Follow you on Insta and subscribing on YouTube. Yeah, I haven't been doing as much on Instagram as I should because basically for a while I was just doing okay. I went to the gym today because I've been going to the gym a lot the last few weeks, and I need to do more on Instagram, but I appreciate that. Thanks, Tamil. Rodrigo says, what I did commit was put my money where my mouth was. If I don't publish in my blog once a week, I have to give €5 to a friend. God, you know what? Everybody out there who has a friend, go out there and try to get them to give you $5 if they don't do something. Like if somebody doesn't finish their app, say, okay, give me $5 if you don't finish it by Tuesday, and then just keep calling them all the time. Go out, mess around with their Wi-Fi, just do everything to and then just roll in the money. Let's see. Jamil says, sir, I have a simple apps on Play Store. How can I earn how much I need to invest to earn? Okay, so I could do a Hello World app and put it on the Play Store, right? It doesn't mean it's going to make money, right? You have to think about how, think about the ABCs. First of all, how are people going to find it? Like, who's your target audience? How are they going to find it? How are you going to make money with it? I mean, it's easy to say, I'll just put ads in it and I'll make money, but you have to serve a lot of ads in order to make anything with it. And a lot of people are really skeptical about ads. And you think about what you should probably think about doing is, what service can you provide, or whatever is, even if it's a game, and how can you have in-app purchases or subscriptions or something like that works. But then also, when you say simple apps doesn't necessarily a bad thing to be a simple app, but it's got to be something that's niche enough that people find it and they'll use it and they'll be willing to spend money on it. I mean, how many apps do you have that you're happy to spend money on? I've got quite a few. And there's some that I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna spend any money on that. There's too many competitors out there that do the exact same thing. So let's see, what money. So I'm spending money on Todoist, Men's Health, a lot, all the streaming ones, but you can't really consider those apps as more of a service. I've got InShot, which is a video editor. There's a few of them out there, which, God, I have to get my iPhone out and have a look. But LL Cool J says, hi. That's a great idea on deadline on making your own apps. However, sometimes on weekends, one worries about Office apps deadline. Yeah, that's true about Office apps. What do you mean, like do you so when you say Office apps, do you mean like oh yeah, that's true. So sometimes this is when you're doing client work and you're doing your own stuff. It's a lot of times client work will take over, because that's again, part of the resistance is, like, even if I say I have to get it done by Tuesday, and then you start to think, oh, but I think of this new feature, I think of this other new feature, and then there's part of this little voice in your head that says, who am I kidding? This isn't going to work. And then that's where things start to, like, just where you got that sabotage in your own head. I've got that too. Rodrigo says, hit the like button, guys. Yeah, guys. Yeah, thanks, Rodrigo. Thanks, everybody, for smashing the like button. Let's see. I admire your courage for putting yourself out there. Wash hands. Thanks. Putting myself out there? Put myself out there. Sorry for posting again. That's all right. I mean, I still don't know what app it is that we should be looking at, Ankush. Priyanshu says, my AdMob limit issue also happened. My guess is that since I use Google ads for promotion, so Google disabled AdMob on it, using ads to get traffic and showing them ads might be the reason. Yeah, that's a weird one, because you're not doing it, because if that's the case, you're not doing anything wrong. Mohammed Masad says, I uploaded an app on Play Store 6 days ago. Play Store hasn't even published my app yet. It's still in the review process. Is that a normal thing? Usually, like, if I've had that problem, I've had that a few times where it's been over a week. And it's so weird because Google Play was always the one that you could just depend on. If anybody's going to give you trouble, it's going to be Apple, right? Not Google. Google, come on, they're cool. They're cool about these things. I mean, unless you do anything wrong, and then but I mean, up until that point. But now they're like, and usually what it has to do is like something to do with the privacy policy. Like you might have to go change something in the privacy policy or something like that. They're probably just reviewing that. And usually it's like the first release. But yeah, I've had that. Rodriguez says, probably the click-through rate was high. How do you know that? If that's the case, you're doing something wrong. It should be 1 to 3% generally. Oof. By the way, LL says, by the way, just had a stupid bug today that was discovered by QA. Dude, I never have bugs. My code is always, dude, I had a bug this week. I had a few bugs this week. Well, one of them was an app that's still in development, so that's okay. I had another one where, oh yeah, I mean, there's one where a lot of times if I do something where I store data locally and I'm not doing something like with Firebase, Firestore, or anything like that, I just have like an API. I'll pass in a date, and then you give me the data up to that time. So I'll store a date time in the application. Say, okay, give me everything that's changed since that time. That way the API don't have to completely rely on the API and have data stored locally. And let's say if I have a table of restaurant reviews or whatever, I'll say, give me restaurant reviews since this date. That would be what the API does. And I had something recently where I was passing in the date, not the date time. So I was missing like these huge chunks of stuff because it wasn't going to midnight. It was going by the following day or something. You have to, a lot of these times, like when you find it, there's some bugs where you're like, just so duh, right? And there's other ones where you're like, just looking for days. And then when you find it, it's almost worth having the bug because it was so satisfying finding it. After finally, it's like, aha, I know what this is, right? And you don't just say you know what this is. You have a theory, and then you test the theory. So you mock up some code, some mock classes or some mock whatever, mock data coming in, and just to test to see if that is what it is, or most likely what it is. So LL says, I put the primary key in one of the variables in the realm model. Worked first time. Crashed in the second login. No unit tests in the app, and still learning how to do them. So I did a unit test recently on Firestore rules. It is a really good video on the Firestore channel or the Firebase channel on how to use Mocha unit testing for Firebase rules. Because that was one of the things where I thought, okay, I coded the app and I just left all the rules open. I thought, okay, I need to put the security in now. How do I do this without breaking the app for everybody? So that was a good case for unit testing. And I should have done the rules as we go. But I released a new app on Google Play yesterday. I still cannot find it on search. How long does it take to appear? Is it in there? I mean, is it? I don't know what it is now, but it could take a while. I think it's getting blocked. Okay, so we're gonna have to go in about 5 minutes here, since we'll go a bit quicker here. Um, uh, so it's called Cute Archer. Let's see. I'll have a look here. It says Ankush's app called Cute Archer. And thank you for telling me the developer name, Ankush, because switch. Here we go. So, wrong camera. All right, so can you see my? All right, so Cute Archer. Okay, Cute Archer, Ankush Rai. Here we go. Super addictive game. You know, this is one of those things that everybody says their game is addictive. Is that? I mean. Okay, let's have a look at this. I'm gonna play this ad. Thanks everybody for smashing the like button. Every so often I see it go off in the corner. Let's see. Oh, I gotta turn off the sound. Let's see. All right. It's just a few things. And again, I said this before, but this is kind of my opinion, and you need to test to see what works and what doesn't. My first thing is that the Q Archer may or may not work, but I would think you have a lot more. Well, you have a little bit more room in the description, in the name to put something else in there. I think the icon is too busy. You think about if I'm looking at, let's look at, I'm gonna do, so Q Archer, you know, it's not showing up in search yet, is it? Unless so we see a lot of Archer stuff, and I think yours might just be a little bit too busy. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So it doesn't look that bad. So you're down here, even when you do a search on the name. We see a lot of these applications. Let's see, Stickman, Archery. I just want to see some of the competitors. This is Archery 3D. So, yeah, I mean, and you could do something where you have the, you could have a bit more description on these screenshots here. I don't know. Anybody else wants to add anything to Ankush's app here? Let us know. 100 installs. Good game. Fun to play this game after the update. Still problems exist like control, direct arrow. Hopefully you will fix that. Oh, that's pretty good. Is that like a friend of yours who did that? Because this was just published. Well, it was published last month. Because that looks like it's an actual review, which is good. Funny voices, cool music, polished animation. Yeah, you're 100 plus addicting levels. Addicting, I mean, I guess Ankush, I'm not much of a gamer, so I'm not sure if I could be much help on this. But what do the rest of you guys think? Let's see. Tamil says game name is Foodie Pens Dash and Rush Car Park. All right, let's have a look at this here. We're gonna look at this one for Tamil City Central. Foodie Pens Dash. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's this one. Although if this is it, if it Tamil, I like this icon. Let's see, you got 44 reviews, not bad. 100 plus installs. 100 plus installs. So, and you got 44 reviews. That's pretty good. There's a lot. There's a lot of reviews here. So one of the things, if I see a lot of reviews that look like they're a bit suspicious, I always look at the dates on them. And a lot of them seem to be coming to the 22nd and the 23rd. Are these legitimate reviews? Fake review, paid review. There we go. Foodie Pens Dash is very blah, blah, blah. Okay. All reviews are paid and fake. And this is, it does look suspiciously. Tamil, is it? So, I mean, sorry. I don't, I know you want us to have a look at the app. I just want to, it's just something that's, because that does seem like a lot of reviews for the amount of installs that you have. I would think that you could get a bit more. Rush Car Park is the other one. Yeah, so this has a reasonable amount of reviews. I don't know what the rest of you guys think here. I think that you could definitely have more screenshots on this. Rush Car Park. Draw with your fingers the car park. Be the king of parking. Can you drive safely? If yes, start soon. Just little things like the grammar here. I mean, you're not capitalizing the I. Just stuff like that. I always, it was the first thing that I noticed. But what do the rest of you guys think? Again, my goal is just to point out the things that I see, not to be crude or anything, or rude or anything like that. Make a SaaS product that automates a manual task that is popular on Fiverr. Oh yeah. Should I first last says, should I private my functions to protect it? Does it even do anything? Yeah, it does. I mean, you don't want to have. When I started my first app, my first applications were in VBA and Access, but like my first real, I did a desktop application, and everything I did was a global variable. I didn't understand why I had to put any things in scope. Why did I have to protect something? Nobody else was going to be using this code. It was just me. Why did I have to mark it as private? But it does make it a lot easier, especially when you got we'll take up more memory if it's available to everything else, wouldn't it? I mean, it's definitely good practice. I should know the answer to that. Sorry about that first last. Goldfish App says, have you ever heard of the App Game Kit Studio? It's cross-platform development software with its own language or the possibility to use Java, C# or Python. Used it to build my first app. Loved it. I haven't. I'll have to check that one out. I'm going to go a bit quick here. Sorry about that, guys, because we got to an hour. There's one person who always disliked the live stream. Yeah, I know. Maybe it's like a high school bully or an ex-girlfriend, or who knows. Maybe somebody. I always think like there's always one person who doesn't like a video, and it's always always wonder I hate this guy Eric. Whoop, late to the party. Whoop, Gord Funk. LL says Office app, i.e. your work from the office. Yeah, isn't this a hand clap? I meant clap hands. Oh, okay, cool. Clap hands. Thanks. Coding United says, I just want to say thanks because I made my first app and released on Google Play and only got 20 active users. Then I heard you talk about the Amazon App Store and put it on there. And bam, have 200 users from Amazon. Awesome. I'm not one to use Amazon very often, but that's perfect. Excellent. It's against Google AdMob policy. You cannot show AdMob ads when you are running AdWords. You get policy violation. Your ads has been limited. Why would that be? If you're running ads, why would it be against policy to have ads in your application? Priyanshu says, my second comment with the app name didn't reach you, I guess. Last attempt, Drinkster is the app on the app icon, orange big so Drinkster. I do have to get going because I have to catch a train. Drinkster. Let's have a look here. Drinkster, is it this one, Drinking Party Games? With the orange icon. Don't let COVID take away all the fun. Oh, you used COVID and you did it in the video, so hopefully that doesn't get you removed. You didn't put it in the description anywhere, did you? Cool. Drinking games, multiple drinking games. 82 reviews. 10,000 plus installs. Awesome. Let's go back to Tamil City says, is there any way to promote app free and get installs and and use and see ads once. I'm not sure I understand that question, Tamil. Sean King says, hey, they're overpassers. Overpassers. Shout out to Oxford. Used to live in Jericho. Any C++ devs in the chat? Are there any C++ devs here? I'm afraid, Sean, I'm not one of them. I'm not a C++ dev, but I never thought I was smart enough to be a C++ dev. Wow, 1.4 megabytes for a game. Oh, was that? Oh, I didn't even see that. Thank you for your time and input. No problem, Ankush. Ryan Bell says, addicting has a negative connotation in my opinion. Cool game, though. Yeah, really cool. Thank you, Ryan. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, everybody says their game is addictive. It's like saying it's fun. How can someone with sketchy reviews not know they have sketchy reviews? Yeah, I try not... Morris, I'm trying not to like focus so much on the sketchy reviews, but that's the first thing I notice. I go on Audible, I go on Amazon, and it's like we've gotten to the point now where we're not tricked by fake reviews anymore, right? We know, like, it's so simple that they, wow, everybody commented on this audiobook in a 2-day span, and they're all saying these things that are like just how great it is, but nothing specific about the content. Let's see. LL says, I think it's really kind of generous you take time to help review apps. Kudos to you. Thanks. Although I do have to get going here in a minute. Hey, Play Store published my app right now. Awesome, Mohammed. And Bhupinder says, maybe the Play Store team watched this live session, Mohammed. That's why your app is live. Dude, Play Store team is not watching this live stream. If you are, comment in the thing and try to boost our apps up a little bit. Done some programming C++, but not a C++ dev. Cool, says Chordfunk. So there you go. Chordfunk and Sean, you guys could meet up. And Wroolie is a super cool name. Thanks, Morris. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining the live stream. Sorry I have to cut it late this week. I was in talks with Appavelli about maybe he could join the live stream next week. I'm going to check with him on that so we have a guest. But, it's kind of nice just to hang out. Sorry I have to run a bit earlier because we could, definitely talk for a couple hours more. But that's what I'm thinking about, maybe moving this to another day other than Friday, just because it seems like I'm always in a rush all of a sudden now with my increased social life. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for smashing the like button. And thanks for joining us on the live stream. I'll talk to you guys again next week.